This video will summarize Viktor Gulenko's subtype theory. Model G of Socionics is one of the more popular models. The DCNH theory details the differences between a dominant subtype, a creative subtype, a normalizing subtype, and a harmonizing subtype. Viktor Gulenko believes his subtype theory helps explain nuanced variation among people of the same psychological type. There are two ways to figure out a person's subtype. The first method is with three special polarities, also known as dichotomies, and the second way is to examine which functions are particularly strengthened for a person's type. The polarities easily identify which subtype a person might be. The Socionics model of psychological types does a good job of helping to classify people very specifically. It might be overkill sometimes, but many Socionics frameworks provide a unique and holistic understanding of personality. Contact versus distant. The first polarity has to do with how a person reacts to stress. Contact reflects, quote, the willingness to draw closer to a problem in the event of stress, accepting the challenge face to face, end quote. These subtypes, dominant and creative, are invigorated and excited in times of stress. Distant subtypes instead choose, quote, the avoidance of direct confrontation, a need for distancing from the problem source, end quote. The other two subtypes, normalizing and harmonizing, freeze or lose their foothold in times of stress. Terminal versus initial. The second polarity focuses on preference for predictability. According to Model G, quote, under terminal, we understand the capacity for closure following from the start to the end of a project or relationship and a tendency to streamline, end quote. The two terminal subtypes are the dominant and normalizing subtypes. Initial in this case means to initiate or to start, instead of the first. Gulenko writes, quote, the initial subtype has the ability to initiate, to switch easily to a new activity, and multitask in things and affairs, end quote. The two initial subtypes are the creative and the harmonizing subtypes. Connective versus ignorative. The third polarity revolves around environmental sensitivity. Connective subtypes are very sensitive to changes in their external environment. These would be the dominant and the harmonizing subtypes. On the other hand, ignorative subtypes do not pay attention to changes in their external environment. They are insensitive to them or unaffected by what's going on around them. This dichotomy includes the creative and the normalizing subtypes. In summary of the three special polarities, here are the four subtypes with their unique combinations. Then, a quick behavioral summary of the four subtypes are that dominants cope best with the leadership roles, creatives are the generators of ideas, normalizers are the finishers, and harmonizers are the correctors. These types are not firmly fixed and can change with enough external pressure and sufficient internal motivation. If you stuck around this long, could you do me a favor? Could you comment below which of these videos on screen you'd like to see next? Alright, hopefully you enjoyed this quick summary. I'll catch you next time.